Everybody so much for coming here today. I know this sounds really cheesy, but it really is a privilege and an honour to be in so many of your presence today. I really appreciate your time, especially as it was such a last minute thing to get organised, and especially special today on the 100-year anniversary since women got the vote in Jersey. I also just want to thank the media as well for all of their support throughout the campaign. You've been brilliant in spreading the word, so thank you so much. And now I'd like to introduce Deputy Louise Doublé, who's going to make a speech.
Thank you, Hannah, and I want to thank former Deputy Jennifer Bridge for the idea that she put to me actually to get us all together today, so thank you for that. So on this day, 100 years ago exactly, some of the first Jersey women were finally able to vote after almost a millennia of living under the rule of men. Women who in many ways were just like you and me. Daughters, mothers and grandmothers, sisters, cousins and aunties. Working women, stay-at-home women, women with real lives and everyday problems. Strong women, courageous women, and valuable women, as long as they were also ratepayers and over the age of 30. The rest had to wait another 26 years until they too could vote. But importantly, there were also women who in many ways were nothing like you and I. They trailblazed for the rights we take for granted today. They lived through one of the most horrifying, appalling and inhumane wars known to humanity. They lived as second-class citizens, often unable to enter into long-term education and professional careers. They were owned by their fathers before being owned by their husbands through marriage. They often married very young and had multiple children also at a very young age. And they didn't have access to the standards of healthcare, and neither did men, that we regularly take for granted today. Yet, in the face of the hopelessness and devastation that life brought before, during, and after the First World War, these brave and courageous women who were left behind by their husbands, fathers and sons unhesitatingly took their places. They did this by working the land and shipyards, by nursing the injured, unwell and elderly, and by operating the island's transport. These are just a few examples of how women kept Jersey going throughout the war, all while enduring the distress of famine and mass death. When the war was finally over and those who had survived returned to the island, women wanted more. They had given more, and they deserved more. Women wanted to have a say in the laws that governed their lives and society. They wanted to have a say in the amount of tax they paid, the quality of the police force and the roads they travelled on. And so, thanks to those trailblazing women, our mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, the women of today and tomorrow, have the power to shape their futures and the lives of future generations. This milestone was the first in a series of crucial milestones for democratic equality for both men and women. Women and working class men who had waited hundreds of years to have a say in the way their island and their lives were run finally had a voice, and I cannot emphasize the importance of that voice enough. A message that we all need to drive through to the younger generations who statistics tell us often don't turn out to vote. Just 32% of 16 to 24-year-olds turned out to vote in last year's general election. But thankfully, today, here in 2019, I can stand here and say we have come a long way over the past 100 years. Jersey girls are now educated until at least the age of 16, and figures show they often gain the highest levels of achievement. More female Jersey students go to university than ever before. Jersey women live in just one of 14 jurisdictions that allow 16-year-olds to vote. Jersey women have access to contraception. Jersey women can become lawyers, architects, and doctors. And Jersey women can stand for election. But evidently, we still have a long way to go. Because in the 900-year history of the States Assembly, only 45 women have ever been elected to Jersey's Parliament. Because today, still only 28.6% of Jersey's politicians are women. Because currently all of our politicians are white and none of our politicians are openly LGBT. Because there are far fewer women than men in the most senior roles in both the public and the private sector. Because too often women don't earn as much as men. Because women are often forced to put their careers on hold while they have children. And because the working week was created by and for men, an inflexible, often full-time, 40-hour week in an office is not conducive to having a career and a family, which is something that many of today's women want. And so it is down to politicians, both female and male, in office today to ensure we drive through the long overdue laws and regulations needed for equality for the children of today and tomorrow. Because while we have benefited from far more rights than our mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, it is only natural and right to want more for our children. And as I look at these determined, resilient, assertive, and capable women who have served this island over the past 44 years, I thank them. Because it is women like these, before us now, who have made it easier for those of us in office today to stand for and be elected. And while the figure may still be low, the States Assembly has the most women it has ever had in office. 14 strong and hard-working women, amongst whom I am proud to serve the island. And together, we would like to make a collective promise to our community today. We pledge to keep fighting for equal rights and opportunities for all. Whether you're male or female, black or white, straight or LGBT, whether you're young or elderly, no matter where you're from or what your background is. Because this anniversary today reminds us that equality is for all. And as surreal as it is to think this far ahead, I sincerely hope that 100 years from today, in 2119, someone will stand in this state's chamber and speak of how far all of these minority groups have come since 2019. What an incredible thought that, for example, men and women could have equal control over their own tax affairs, have the same opportunities to occupy senior roles in the workplace, share equally in parenting responsibilities, and take home the same salary for the same role. Actually, that's not incredible, is it? Those things are fair and just. And I believe that these examples will be achieved in my lifetime. Thank you, each and every one of you who has come here today for this momentous anniversary and unique opportunity to bring as many past and present female politicians together as possible. As a tribute to those politicians who have served before and beside me, I will now read the names of the 45 women politicians who have ever served this island as elected members since 1948. Ivy Forster, Phyllis Gartrell Green, Gwyneth Clare Hewlin, Enid Lefevre, Jane Patricia Sandeman, Joan Marion Defer, Anne Mary Barl, Enid Claire Keno, Helen Baker, Iris Medora Lefevre, Margaret Sylvia Rose Beadle, Corrie Stein, Betty Brooke, Patricia Ann Balash, Cynthia Miriam Horn, Shirley Margaret Boda. Margaret Anne Leggett. Evelyn Mabel Pullen. Jacqueline Jeanette Huey. Imogen Stephanie Nichols. Wendy Kinnard. Jennifer Ann Bridge. Celia Joyce Scott Warren. Judith Ann Martin. Sarah Craig Ferguson. Jacqueline Ann Hilton. Carolyn Fiona Labby. Juliette Galishon. Deirdre Wendy Mesborian. Shona Pittman. Anne Enid Pryke. Deborah Jane D'Souza. Anne Teresa Dupre. Angela Elizabeth Jeanne. Tracy Ann Valois. Sadie Lesueur Renard. Christina Louise Moore. Susan Jane Pinnell. Zoe Cameron. Louise Mary Catherine Dublé. Karina Suarez Alves. Mary Rose Lehegarat. Jessica Harriet Pershard. Karen Elizabeth Shenton Stone. And Inna Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Dublé. That was a great speech. Thank you so much for making that speech. So anybody who would like to be interviewed by the media, please make yourselves known. The media would like to talk to you, anybody who's interested in speaking about the anniversary today and the commemorative events. Also, if you would like to just hang back and stay and talk and have some more tea and coffee, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And also just to let you know, court is in session, so when you leave, please just try to be quiet if you can. And thank you again so much to all of you for being here today. I won't forget this day. Thank you.